It's Sea-Duck Again is brought to you by Hackensack Brewing Company and their Imperial Pilsner Auga, which was created in honor of the legendary DJs The Awesome 2. Thick Crates, pure hip-hop satisfaction. Check out their limited edition new releases available now on Instagram. Weaponized Records, an independent music label serving up underground hip-hop. The revolution will not be televised. It will be weaponized. And the Spit Slam Record Label Group. The Spit Slam Record Label Group. A Chuck D situation. Catch us on your favorite streaming platform, on Bandcamp, or visit our official web store at spitslamrecords.com. All releases are available digitally or on CD, with select titles available on vinyl and cassette. The Spit Slam Record Label Group. Throwback to the future sound.
It's Sea-Doc again.
Well, what's up, party people in the place to be? It is Tuesday night, and welcome to another episode of It's Sea-Doc Again. Hey, I get to be here from the beginning tonight, right? Yes, indeed. Hope everybody is doing well out there. As usual, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight on the show. Got to kick in the theme music. There we go. First up, I don't do it alone. Got to bring the crew. And we start with the lady that got her start in classic rap radio, the very first all 24-hour hip-hop station in the world. Talking about our lady from the heyday of K-Day, Jennifer O. Jenny.
Or the K-Day of Heyday.
The K-Day of Heyday. Oh, boy.
Absolutely.
I thought I had that, but man, I just that close.
Whatever. Something about a radio station and yeah.
Something about radio station, exactly.
A really long time ago. Yeah. Indeed.
That
would be me.
That would be you. And also joining us tonight, coming from New Jerusalem, he has one of the dopest accounts on Instagram. If you don't follow him, you are officially a sucker. Ladies and gentlemen, Ultramag7.
Doc, Jennifer, what's the deal?
Good, bro. How are you?
I was good on Sunday until I saw that at the Awesome 2 event, whatever side this is, that Busy Bee was there, Tricky T was there, and Cutmaster DC. I was sick. I was sick to my stomach.
And you were not.
And you were not.
I was not. I was sick to my stomach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, if it makes you feel any better, I wasn't there either. But
You've never been.
I know, and I've got to change that. I got to get out. I got to get out for one of those.
We got the rest of the summer just started. You got all summer.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. No kidding. Summer just started. Holy hell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you guys, but it's hot over here. So
not here.
Brutal.
About it.
So we'll check in with the weather on the northwest side as we are the final piece of the puzzle. He is in charge of the Hip Hop Gods radio show and the president of Chuck D's rap station. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Flatline.
Oh.
That Lizzo.
Yeah. Hey, did you guys hear that LL ended Kumo D's career?
I had heard that, yes.
Yeah.
I was today years old when I found that out.
LL and what?
What drives me to drink?
LL and what? I'm sorry. What did I miss?
Nothing.
I was actually going to say that before we brought Grand Agent on, but thank you for taking care of that.
We can talk about it in the after show.
Or we can not.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yes. The intranet. The intranet is fun.
The hip hop fans.
Yeah, no. we're gonna talk about this at the end of the show because I got some stuff to get off my chest.
Okay. It's happening.
I guess it just came out. Okay, so yes, our guest has been an MC for a hot minute now. Let's say I first heard him rhyme on a collab with the Chocolate Boy Wonder. I was like, wow, this is dope. Who's this guy? And he just, it says the deluxe edition of his new album just dropped on the 19th. And it is By Design 2. So please welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Grand Agent.
Yeah!
Agent.
Yeah!
I
love that you cheer for yourself.
What's up, everybody?
How
Y'all got fun energy going on. That's easy to do. I'm good. Thank you for having me. My man.
Thank you for being here. We're a silly bunch. So
yeah. Ultra Mag. Wow.
Yeah. Tell them we go back. We go back.
At least to 99, 98.
Wow.
Yeah, around then.
Yep, at least. So
yeah.
How's everybody feeling tonight?
Good.
Feeling all right. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm great, man. I'm happy to be here. Talking about music, whatever else we're going to talk about. I haven't done this in a little while. Actually talking about music. I've been knee deep, neck deep in some other work, but this is a nice change of pace for me.
Excellent.
Yeah, happy to be here.
We like changes of pace.
Me too.
Good. So let's talk about this deluxe edition By Design 2 that just dropped.
Yeah, why not? So By Design is the first, not the first, but this is the first official Grand Agent album. The original dropped in February of 2001, I believe. It was a few labels involved at the time, Groove Attack, Land Speed, and some other, indie hip hop, mainstays of the time. We had some nice joints on there. We had a Lord Finesse record on there. We had a High Tech record featuring Planet Asia. We had my man Chops from Philly, the Mountain Brothers, if anybody remembers that. Well, Chops still been pretty active, but Chops had a few records on there. There we go. AG of Showbiz and AG was on there. And a couple joints I produced myself. And it got some critical acclaim. It was kind of on maybe the tail end of that big vinyl resurgence and everything was having when Raucous launched and all that. But it started me on my journey, and I guess we'll talk about some of that. But anyway, that was By Design. And 24 years later, on May 19th, actually, By Design 2, it was the day after my 50th birthday, and now I just did the deluxe version because By Design did a few things that established me, and it established me in a very certain way, which was, it was some label influence there. It wasn't 100% how I saw myself. And so, once you get planted a certain way, you have to stay that course to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And so By Design 2 up to track 13 is exactly what everybody who loved By Design would want to hear. And then from 14 on, which came out on the 19th, is what I like to do. So we try to make everybody happy. And I'm happy with all of it. But that's kind of how that happened and why it came out in 2 iterations 30 days apart. Yeah.
What was the thinking in doing a sequel 24 years later?
Well, ironically, I wanted to do it at 20 years. I ramped up. I was ready to have it come in 2021. And then just life happened and it didn't happen. So, so that was supposed to be the 20-year anniversary was to do part two. But in that time, it just stayed on my mind. It just things didn't align. You know what I mean? And then they did, and I said, you know what? This is it. I didn't get the 20th anniversary of the record, but I was turning 50. I'm like, I got it. This is a milestone for me. Let me just do it. And so it got done that way. So that was the significance of the time in between.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. You grew up in Philly?
Absolutely, man. Oh, absolutely, brother.
And what was growing up in Philly like for you?
Oh man, it was a mixed bag. I mean, in terms of why I end up here on this show tonight. I mean, I grew up on Steady B and Schoolie D and the Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff and Lady B and the Cazelle Boys and Jewel T and Crew and on and on. Then later, Rough House Records, Muhammad Diaz, not Schoolie D, The Roots. I mean, just Poor Righteous Teachers. I mean, it was always possible for me. I mean, when Steady B and them were coming out, they were 16, I was 11. It was very attainable, and so I just always believed in it. I always felt, a sense of awe and inspiration from, really a recording. I mean, I'm really a recording artist. I mean, there's some musicality to it, obviously, but my fascination is with recordings. I mean, because of what it is, it's a record. It's a slice of time, right? I can go back and listen to something, and I'm there again. I remember what where I was, what was happening, and I love recordings. I love making records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you get into hip hop?
7 years old, 1982, sitting on the porch. Somebody walked up. I mean, I was already I had an older cousin who had me listen to Lady B on WHAT, like AM, you know what I mean? Early. And it was my big cousin E, rest in peace. And he used to come over every Sunday afternoon. We on the porch. And one of those days, the homie walked up and he was playing the Message. He had the Message playing, and it was like, you know what I mean? Like the whole world opened up. And so from then, man, I was committed. I was committed from that moment, So that would have been 82. Something like that, yeah. I was 7, you know what I mean? It was from then on.
Did you?
When did you
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, when did you start writing rhymes?
Yeah.
1986. I sat down with I had one of these. What happened, when I got bit, I started saving all my allowance, and I would just go buy records every weekend, and I always bought the local guys, all the pop art records, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I have to do this. And, I turned one of the Steady B records over, instrumentals playing.
Yeah.
And this I made my first recording. I literally, back in the day, moms had the component set, as they called it.
Right.
And I'm blasting the record, the instrumental, I'm blasting it out in the room. So that's coming through the speaker. I got my little tape recorder here, mic placement and all that. I rap into that. You play it back, you got the beat, you got the vocals. It's like that was the first time, 1986. So that's what happened, bro. Like that's exactly what happened.
making home recording and stuff like that because I used to do that too. That was a blast, man.
Yeah.
Do you still have any of those tapes?
I wish I could find that tape, bro. I wish, bro. I wish. That and one other, when I met Ultra Mag in that era, I was in a group called Name in Philly.
Yeah.
And that is a era. Actually, one of the bros from the group just sent some recordings. But by that time, we're talking like 94. That's when I really started going for it. And of all the gigs we did, all the work we put in, there was only ever one videotape. And at one point, I was moving and I had my hand on it, and I never saw it again. So that videotape and that first 1986 audio tape, you know what I mean? I don't know what I would give or what I wouldn't give to put my hands on those joints, man. It's just crazy. Yep.
You know where that show was at?
The one that we had the tape of, it was called the Commodore Lounge. It's the 55th in Baltimore. It's a little bar, and upstairs they had a stage. And this was a time. This is really when I started believing in that I could have a career. I was in a group. A shout out to my bros, Mr. Sism, Old Man, Ozzy Jones. We were a threesome and a trio, I should say, not a threesome. We were a trio, and we met like I was in school. I was in school with Sis, Larry, who and we started making beats together. I was at the Art Institute. I was pursuing the music video business program, whatever, and I worked at Freedom Theater, where my man Ozzy was. He was the assistant artistic director, and to this day, they are both still very well known and immersed in the theater world here and many other places. So anyway, that's how that group formed. I worked with one of them. I went to school with one of them. We became a group and just started grinding. It's like 94 through 98. And, I'm going to throw a name out. I don't know, maybe some know. There used to be a spot in Philly called Armand's Records. And after the original spots was Funkelmart. Then there was the Sound of Market 2, Sound of Germany. These were all the record stores we used to shop at. And on the tail end was Armand's, was one of the sole survivors. And there was a dude in there named Yuri. And Yuri used to be the product manager or whatever his job was. But he used to move all the hip-hop vinyl. And he moved to L.A., I guess sometime 96, 97. And he came back in 98. And this was like the peak of the group I was in, right? So this was a crazy era. Again, outside of what was going on in Philly, again, the raucous thing, the Lyricist Lounge, all that was going on. And, Bobito had the footwork, and the Rich Medina had the footwork, Philadelphia, and we used to do shows in there, and we doing the show in there, and Yuri's like, "Oh, man, you got to come to L.A. and da-da-da-da-da." And that's pretty much how the Grand Agent solo career started. I went to L.A., one thing led to another, and,
Wow.
Yeah, listen, he ain't lying, because it was like, I remember I had the name tape, and then the next thing I know, it was like he was out of here. He had the Mingling 12, and he was out of here.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's nothing like, as all of you all know, it's nothing like tracing a dream, and then you get that first, that first cheerleader, that first believer, and you're like, oh shit, I'm not tripping, and I went out there, crashed on his couch, and even out there, he was working at a record distributor. He was like, yo, come down, and he got me a little job at the record distributor. I got a little, P&D deal, right? I put out a single, and then I met a guy who was he was starting the label. It ended up being this guy, Zach Katz, who I did the first record with. And that's how By Design got, financed and produced and all that. And then And and that was that era. It was a lot of indie labels. Guys would just make the records because you could sell them. You turn around, sell them to a distributor, sell them to a land speed, get a distro deal. And my man put the money on it. He's like, come on. And, the Lord Finesse. And I mean, he A&R and all of that. The Cutmaster Kurt, that was the other guy. That was that's really how I got pigeonholed. If you want to be honest about it, it was like I went to LA. I'm gonna say Digable Plans. What's this? Dilated Peoples. Worked the angles. That was the hottest shit in the world. He's like, come on, we got to do this with Kurt. We got to get Rev to do the cuts. We got to. I'm like, man, I don't want to do that shit. You know what I mean? But it's like, the guy's paying the bill. You got to let him get his input. So I ended up doing 2 records with Kurt. The first one was Mingling. That was the first single. And then Every 5 Minutes was the second single. And, they did what they were supposed to do. They got me the attention and all of that. And so, what ended up happening is in the deal making, Zach went with Groove Attack as the distributor.
Yeah.
And Groove Attack was, they was coming into the States. They was trying to, get their weight up, had opened an office in New York and all that. But they were really well established in Europe, and they were based in Cologne, Germany. And basically what happened, bro, I'm like, I'm still living in Philly. I'm going back and forth to LA to finish this album. I think the last one actually was the one with High Tech and Planet Asia. And I was out there, and I don't know, Planet Asia had something going on. He couldn't record. So I did my parts, went home. Next thing I know, I hear this, It's Only Right is what it's called. So that was it. Album's ready. So I'm back here. I'm still hustling. I'm driving a cab. That was kind of like my hustle. I drive a cab for like 10 days, get all my rent money, go back into the studio. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm driving the cab, and they like, listen, man, they want you to go to Germany to promote. I'm like, shit, let's go. I go to Germany. I get out the cab, Tuesday, I'm in the cab. Saturday, like I'm on TV in Germany and shit. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, oh, it's happening, And so that shit, I'm there for like 3 days, back to the cab. Right. I'm like, damn, I need more of that, So I'm coming back home, I'm stringing together shows around town, out at the Rotunda and all these spots around town. And they call me back. All right, we're gonna do this, another little promo run. And what really kind of saved me, right in between that, Melee Sparks or Rashid and Ill Advised. He had been was an expat. He was living in Sweden. This was early, 97, 96. He was going, and he came home. He said, "Yo, man, I want to bring you over there." I went over there. He got us a couple dates, Copenhagen, Sweden, and I met these guys. Boulevard Connection, DJ Typhoon, and Pete is the man. Pete, I think that was his name. And they like, hey man, we're doing this tour with Common and the Loot Pack, and you should. And they like, but the budget's all spent, but you can. I'm like, man. So I'm so I get that information, and then I got to go back. So I'm back in Philly, and I'm calling the label. I'm like, yo, man, get me on this tour. You know what I mean? Just get me a ticket, and it'll be good. And so they said, all right, we're gonna take care of you. So they got me a ticket, and they got my man Sonny James, Mr. Sonny James, the pretty high profile DJ right now. And we went over. And yo, man, listen, I didn't tell nobody, my mom, nobody, but I was like, I'm not coming back. Like, fuck, I don't care what it takes. I'm not coming back. So 2001, man, 4th of July, I get on that plane. I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. And I had like just enough homies and little studios to couch surfing. And I just stayed, man. And I ended up staying until about the end of 2003. And, just toured around Europe like crazy. You know what I mean? did my second album out there with all these German guys and Danish guys, and just was living it up, man. You know what I mean? And
Was that fish out of water?
that was fish out of water. Yep. And what happened in there? You know, me and Groove Attack, we kind of changed from an artist relationship to a distributor. So and I was making good money. You know, I was touring. I was living it. You know what I mean? And end up putting most of that back in the fish out of water, and that shit just kind of tanked. You know what I mean? So it was like a major regroup. And what happened? That happened, and then kind of like, Europe is pretty small. Like especially Western Europe. You say from good thing about Cologne, it was like Paris was close. Amsterdam was literally an hour and a half. Everything was real close. Rome, I think, was the furthest, 10 hours, on the train. But we would go do all this stuff regularly, and it got to the point where literally like every weekend we would go to Switzerland, go to Austria, or go to Estonia, go to Czech Republic, right? And it's like that was it. And I was just doing the album, you know what I mean? Making money, living, putting that back in the album. And so that didn't do so well. And then also right at that time, it was kind of like Napster. The internet really became the enemy of the industry. And it was like the bottom. It didn't actually fall out, but it was falling out. So I'm like, well, I burnt this circuit up. You know what I mean? Let me see if I can go back home and just kind of pick up where I left off. And that just turned into a whole nother, series of challenges. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just rapping, y'all. I mean, y'all got questions?
Let me tell you one of my illest hip hop memories. And so, the very first show I did with Princess Superstar.
Okay. Oh wow.
It's in Cologne, Germany.
Okay.
And so, we haven't even done a show yet. We've only rehearsed.
Okay.
So this is me doing a show for her label, K7 Rapster.
I remember
so
that.
I'm walking into the venue. It's me, Princess Superstar, Alexander Technique, the DJ, Walter, the bass player, and her manager. They're all ahead of me. So I'm walking into the spot. I'm in Germany. I hear somebody say, Aaron. I'm like, who here knows me? It's this brother down there. I was like, what? And I knew he was in Germany, but I didn't know he was in Cologne.
Yeah.
So we go into the venue, we go downstairs, we're chilling. It's me, him, and Ursula Ruckets. Like
Ursula, that was that same night. I was gonna say in that same video, I remember seeing Ursula. That was the same night.
Because she was on K7. She was on.
That's right. That's right.
And so we had this Philly reunion.
Yeah.
I always remember. I'm like, yo, who knows me here? I'm in Germany. It's this brother.
Yeah. They used to be cool hanging out over there. Because a lot of the artists that were huge at one time here, they would come over. I mean everybody. Master Ace, Das Effects, AG. I will run into AG over there. J. Rue, like just on and on and on. And just to see those guys be able to keep it going, you know what I mean? That was kind of like another like new level of inspiration, like I had when I was, listening to Steady B, just like, so it was real dope being over there, man. It was just magical, you know what I mean? Probably until right now, the best era of my life, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was huge, It was like the dream come true. And what I realized was like, damn, I was, like I said, I was going and I was having glimpses. And it just dawned on me. It's like, look, bro, it's happening there. If you want to live it, you gotta go where it is and live it. Because otherwise, I would have been in Philly grinding. What's wrong? What's the matter? So it was like the dream came true. Just it's like you don't get in the NBA, but like you go play overseas. It was just kind of one of those things. Like fuck it, I'm still rapping, I'm still recording, I'm still touring, and I'm making a living. So it's like. What's to be mad at? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. It's Cologne was a beautiful city. I remember,
isn't it?
Bro,
isn't it?
Let me tell you, when we were first going there, and I'm thinking of Germany,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of these big burly women and all this. I'm telling you, there was a spot, I forget, it was like this cobblestone way with all these different shops.
Yeah.
And me and my man Alex were on either side. It was like a walkthrough. Each woman coming through there was more beautiful than the next. I was like, what?
Yeah.
It was like phew, 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 phew. That's where I started liking seltzer, because when you get water, it's like Vasa or Vasa mit gas. I was always mit gas.
Yeah.
And when I came back, I had such a great time because we was trying to talk to all the chicks, but we couldn't. We were too aggressive because we were Americans. So they were like this.
Yeah.
I took I went to like community college. It took a conversational German class. I'm like, when I go back, I'm going to bag some chicks.
That's funny. Yeah. That's funny.
Cologne was beautiful.
Look at Judy.
There's always that to aspire to. When I go back,
that's what it is.
My body is gonna.
Hey,
that's right.
And I went back.
And the thing about
that robe and them locks. No, hell no.
I went back.
Yeah, the women were crazy, and actually in Europe, it's like the further east and south you go, they get more and more beautiful.
Oh,
really,
bro.
literally.
Bro.
You start to get in the Prague and the Hungary and it's almost like I don't know. I mean, I want to be crass, but the poorer they get, the poorer the country. It's just kind of like.
Bro.
Because by the time you get to Croatia, you're like, God damn, where am I? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's you ask anybody who goes over there, by the time you get to Croatia, you're like, am I on another planet? Like, this shit is crazy. Everybody is like model. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
I remember we were trying to talk to these Turkish girls, and we're trying to explain to them that we're here to rap, and they were like Jay-Z. We're like, yeah, like Jay-Z. Yeah. That's what I'm like, yeah, like Jay-Z.
Exactly. He's with us, actually.
Yeah. He's back to the show.
But so you came back to the States, but you kept recording, you kept making music.
Oh man, I never stopped. In fact, you hear a lot of artists say this, like when you be like, oh man, you're washed up, fuck out of here. But like you really do get better. Like it's hard to prove it because once people are in love with that thing they know you for, and it's like your situation changes, like you don't have the same promotion behind you, don't have the same machinery. It's really hard to get somebody to believe that. Actually, I'm way better than I was there because it's so what happened? I ended, I did a lot of nice tours, made the Common and the Loop Back. This was Mad Lib before it, Mad Lib, and so you just met a lot of good dudes. For a time, I was doing a lot of work with Lil Dap, Group Home. We did a lot of shows together. I had a couple nice tours with Camp Low. One over there at Camp Low and Large Professor. That was real dope. And what happened? So into 2003, I came back, 2004. And like I said, Napster, everything was just rocky, you know what I mean? And came back, did a few tours, just really rough. Put a few records out through that that Mad Lib, Declaim actually became the homie too. And he's always Mad Lib and Oh No and Can Kick, and then you got it. And so he put me together with Oh No, and we did a record that called Under the Circumstances. That came out about 2005. And then when I got back, I still had a lot of little work was coming from overseas. So like guys would email me, let's do a feature, and that's when I started doing something that I grew to really hate. Was like just sending vocals. Like it's a nice way to make a few bucks, but a lot of times you don't get what you want out of it because you're just not really in the room. And so, but I did a lot of that. I did whole records like that. I did one with these guys called this guy named Don Joe of Italy. I think they're from Milan. Club Dogo. we did a record like that, like a bilingual English Italian joint. They ended up blowing up. What else? I got for a moment. Patience 12-inch. Yep, I remember that too. That was in the beginning. That record also ended up on By Design. So kind of like that 2005, it was under circumstances. Oh no, I think 2006 or 7, there was this kind of resurgence raucous campaign called Raucous 50. It was weird. I don't know. I think they were trying to figure out how to move into the online space, and so they had this thing where they picked like 50 artists that they had us all make little EPs or something like that. So I did that. That was like 07. Then like 08, 09, I got with this guy who's like, I don't know if y'all know, this guy is OSTR. This is a Polish dude who's like, yo, you know how some people, when they try to bring live instrumentation into hip hop and they just absolutely fuck it up. Yes. You know what I mean? This guy is like the absolute antithesis of this. This is like a Polish Kanye. I'll just say, like, producer, rapper, superstar. And like, I mean, you should look him up. It's OSTR. Like, you will find 10 records of his you love. You don't know what he's saying, but the shit is just dope. So anyway, so I get connected with this guy. He's like, the guy that runs the label, I guess it's kind of like his manager. It's kind of like, you know, Peanut Butter Wolf and Madlib, how they were. It's kind of like this duo where the whole label, you know, rests on this guy. And so he's like, yo, yeah, I want to do an album with Grand Asia. He always sending me these beats, and they like, oh, the most beautiful, just amazing shit, right? And so we do this record. So I like same thing. I record a bunch of it at home, but even he was like, no, let's bring him over. I want to bring him over. So I go over there to Warsaw. It's like, I think it's probably 2009, and we finished that up. And, you know, make a little kind of weird avant-garde video or whatever. But this record, I mean, when I tell you objectively, one of the best things I ever did, and it just. And this guy, because he had this artist who was the shit, he didn't believe in promotion because he didn't need to. I'm like, yo, you gotta. He was like, I would never spend that kind of money promoting. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He was like, that's insane. I was like, bro, this shit is hot. Yo, and I'm talking about Leo, bro. I like this joint, yo, reviews was coming up on iTunes like, yo, this is the hottest. Like, yo, you fuck Lil Wayne. This is like all types of stuff. Yo, no promotion, man. I was like, oh, that joint we gave it everything. I mean, like, I listened back to it. I may have fucked up twice out of like 15 songs. You know what I mean? It's like, and the music this guy makes is it's just so lush. It's like he classically trained violin, piano, like, but it's never overwhelming. Like that shit is just in there. And so that was so this is like the hard struggle era. You know what I mean? It's like that happened 2010, 11. I don't even remember, man. I'm just like, I'm recording, you know, but by this time, it's like I got a little son. He's like 6, 7. I'm dealing with that. You know what I mean? I'm fucking getting divorced. I'm like real life shit is just like in my ass. But I'm getting better. I'm becoming a better recording artist. Nobody knows, but I'm getting better and better and shit. You know what I mean? And,
right.
And then, you know, like I think where I ain't gonna say where I gave up, but where I was like, you know what, man, like let me figure out another way to express myself creatively is when this fucking social media started, man. It's like, you look at my page now, man, it's no reason I should only have 2,000 followers, but I just cannot get into this shit. You know what I mean? It's like, I try to make myself, I'll go for 2 weeks, 2 months, and then I'm like, man, what the fuck am I doing on here? You know, it's like, so that's kind of where I started looking at other stuff. And, you know, one of the things I was working on. I was like, this is the time everybody got a reality show. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna see if I can make a TV show. Try to, make that my promotional thing. Still struggle, bro. Like I was in LA. Now I'm living in LA by this time. So it's like this is, these people are all around me. And I'm like, fuck it, let's do a reality show. So we come up with this concept. It's called One Last Shot. And it's just basically like my life. It's like, man, I don't know, at that time, I'm 36, 37. I'm a great rapper. I did everything except blow up. My fucking rent is up my ass, mortgage. I'm about to get foreclosed on. How do I find time and resources to fucking do, a groundbreaking project? So that's the whole premise of the show. Man, we put this shit together, got a deal fell through, got another deal fell. Man, I done made this pilot episode like 2.5 times already. You know what I'm saying? From 2010 all the way to until the pandemic, bro. We was in the pandemic. We got another deal. Let's do and so that's kind of how the journey went. And then 2020, bro. I'm back from LA. I'm in Jersey. I come home to visit. And I run into a guy, and I get caught up in this. What I'm doing now, which is called Philly Truce, and this is like a nonprofit. Me and my homie started, just gun violence intervention, prevention, and it just turns into a whole fucking thing. So now it's like I make more money and get on TV more than I ever did rapping. as the executive director of a nonprofit, and like after like a hard 5 years, like, so this was 2020, so like that's really the thing that put me off schedule for By Design 2 in 2021. This thing just took off, and so after like 4 or 5 years, I'm like, man, I got to put some music out. And that's basically how we got here today in 2025, putting out part 2 to a 23-year-old album. And but what I mean, and all of that, man, I had great, what I'm saying? I mean, Pete Rock, what I mean? Somehow I ended up on a record with Smith & Wesson. I forgot how that happened. Lord Finesse. I mean, right now, look, Grand Puba's on the new album. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Ty J of Souls of Mischief, my dude who toured with early on. Culture Freedom produced that track. Fucking C Knowledge is on the new album. Yep. So it's like nothing really went anywhere. It's just like I just went on a fucking journey and ended up right back where I was. So. That's kind of the story.
That's amazing.
I was so happy to see that you had Larry and Ozzy on the album. Like that made me feel so good, man. I love that.
Yeah. The beautiful thing about that is and that's also why the deluxe version, because that was the rub I had. I think I had a certain perspective going into it. Like, again, I grew up watching, Steady B, Cool C, Hilltop Hustlers. We a click, we make our records together. And when I got, the first opportunity to have somebody really invest in me, all of that was kind of pushed to the side. It's like, nah, we're going to do this Cut Master Kurt thing. We're going to do this thing that's, suited for this market where we can compete in. And so I never, I had those guys, my original guys on the first album, but I never really got to take that journey with them, partly because they found other career paths. But, this By Design 2, like there's somebody, like every phase of my journey is represented on there, like the dudes I got tight with in Germany is like 4 or 5 tracks produced between them. Name is on there. This sister Mel Inc., who was like a name, Satellite, she's on there. And then the Planet Asia, one of the first people, he's on there. My man Tribeca, who we formed another little situation, Sport of the Gods, he's on it. So everybody that's been on this journey with me is represented, particularly on this deluxe version. And that's kind of, just the space I had to make for myself in my own journey, while again, given that by design fan, that first portion of the album or that first version, you know what I mean? Like they should have, I think, nothing to complain about from that first 13 tracks. Yeah. I know I did a lot of shit. They had a lot to complain about over the years, but I'm pretty sure that first 13 tracks, if you only know me from By Design and that's all you like, you should be satisfied with By Design too. The first one. Yeah.
I love. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. You first.
I just gonna keep it Philly real quick. It was I love that you had MC Breeze on there.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man!
Right?
MC Breeze came through.
Wow.
Did his own record on my record.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man Lee too, LE Squared from 100X, which is also listen. This guy, you talking about a Philly legend? This group was Wu-Tang before Wu-Tang, and I don't say that lightly. And the producer, LE Squared, my man Lee Johnson, is Pharrell's older cousin and one of Pharrell's first inspirations, right? And he produced the first Gilly the Kid record. He just credits out the ass, but just stayed a neighborhood guy, and he was one of the people I wanted to work with the most. And he did a lot of work on the album. So it's a lot of personal stories on there that came to fruition through this, man. But yeah, MC Breeze, how about that? My man Lee redid the track just like if it was off the Dr. Rhythm and found all the little hits. And that's actually his kids. My man Lee's his kids in there doing the chorus, his daughters. And Breeze in there doing his yak. It's like, I got to be that kid again. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he was a total, just one of the easiest guys to work with too, man. Made it real easy. I forgot about that, Breeze. Yeah.
Speaking of name, real quick.
Yes.
Any plans of reissuing or remastering or bringing back Lost Page of the B-Boy document?
Oh wow! I think it's on my Bandcamp if I'm not mistaken.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, people can hear it. It's actually funny. That's a thing I've thought about. Like those songs on there, just from a writing standpoint, was like when I first started to figure this shit out, and I love some of them so much because I would never write like that now, Yeah. And I've been thinking about, man, I should re-record some of these or redo them. And that's something I might do, but I would want to do it. I would want to do it in a special way, almost like looking at that, all right, these are the demo versions. Now we're going to produce them up. You know what I'm saying? So I have thought about that. That's what really got me going. You know what I mean? That project right there was really, I think, what made Yuri be like, yo, man, you should come out to LA. And it really got me, and the funny thing is, like, with my day job now, I was struggling so much to get this By Design 2 done that I felt like how I felt then when it was like, for whatever reason, that first project is the hardest thing in the world. Like, God damn, and then you get it done. It's like, okay, now I'm just making albums, right? Just after that one. But the challenges I faced with this one, it just took me back to that time of like, everything was just taking long and a setback and, oh, no, we got to do this again. And, so it just was a total rebirth. So, yeah, I mean, that shit's out there now. People can hear it now. I think I don't think I would remaster or I think if I did anything, I would try to do it again in a new way. Okay. Just let it be that dirty little thing that it is. You know what I mean? Any Groove Attack story is good or bad. Well, the good was, hey, listen, man, they brought me to Germany. They worked with me. helped me get out of the first contract, which was not so great, that they, ended up through the distribution deal, having the rights to that agreement. They openly, renegotiated it for me. So that was dope. I don't really have any bad Groove Attack stories. I just think for me, it was real dope to have somebody believe in me. The door was always open. Once I was living in Cologne, I could walk in there, almost any time and talk to Frank, who's the boss. And, I just learned a lot more about the business, and, taught me to start to figure out how to distinguish, me, the person or the personality from the product, and start to kind of think through, how things, how records are made, how they market it, and how they actually become successful. And, not that it's all figured out and planned out, but there are some things that at least for me, I didn't go into it understanding. Like I just said, I just thought I'm going to take my homies and we're going to do this. And, it just, once thousands of dollars start to be spent, it's like, that shit come with opinions, you know what I mean? And strong opinions, you know what I mean? So you got to start to digest that aspect of it, So I learned all of that from Groove Attack. So, shout out to Frank Stratman, shout out to Damien. I don't know if they're still there. I know Frank is, but Damien, Carmen, and Mew, and they treated me great, you know what I mean, as an expat, walking in their office like, yo, what the fuck is that? Dealt with me very patiently and still worked with me, you know what I'm saying? So I just think it's all good with Groove Attack for me.
Were they the ones that hooked up the collab with Pete Rock for This Is What They Meant?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of those, like, sour moments became sweet. What happened, they were doing that Super Rapping 2 album, and because I was on their label, it was like, well, you obviously have to have a record on here. And again, me, going with my homies and making, the record I wanted to make, they was like, oh, we don't know about that. And they had all this shit to say about it. But they was like, you know what? Like, we still wait for this Pete Rock record. Let us call him and see if he'll do his song with you. And I'm like, well, fuck, go ahead, call him. You know what I'm saying? And so, they like, yeah, he wants to do it. You got to go to New York. And I was still living in Philly at the time. So, you talking about a great, I'm going to tell you my one or two, maybe top two greatest studio experiences. So, this was one. So they're like, yeah, go up to New York. So we go to Green Street Studios, right? This is like Public Enemy house. Jamie Staub is the engineer.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like real shit, right? So I'm in there, I don't know how fucking long I'm sitting in there. And Pete Rock is just playing Xbox or some shit or whatever. And I'm just like, damn, we going to do this shit or what, And the beat is just playing and playing and playing, and I'm like, so I'm not a gamer, so I don't know what I was doing, but I know I was just like, damn, what the fuck? Like, because I think actually a day or two after that was when I was going to fly to Europe. So I was like, man, I got to get this shit done, get back to Philly, get ready. And, he's just in there vibing. The shit is just blasting. Jamie is there. And then, so he's like, yo, she's like, you ready? And I'm like, the fuck am I ready? Like, so I'm like, so I told him the idea. I'm like, yo, this is what I was thinking. Yo, this is what they meant by soul. So I told him the hook, and he's like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, I got one of them for Pete Rock. Let's go. So I went in there, I did my little shit. I did my raps. And then I was like, bro, I gotta go, you know what I'm saying? And he was still fucking around and fucking with the beat. And don't you know, bro? So I did that, and that's exactly right. So I did that. A couple of days later, I left. Now I'm living in Germany. Months later, they like, yo, we still waiting for the song from Pete and shit. So finally it comes in. This is holding up the whole album. This is holding up the whole Super Rabbit album and shit, right? So finally it comes in, and they like, yo, we all played it, and everybody just looked at each other like, I don't know why. I'm pretty sure he didn't change the beat significantly after I did my part, but everybody was kind of just underwhelmed. Like, we expecting this high energy Pete Rock, like, shut him down. Like, we want that shit. You know what I mean? So everybody at Groove Attack is just kind of like, okay. So, but now it's like, I'm on Pete Rock's record. Like, I know they putting this shit out. You know what I mean? I'm sure they paid out the ad. Like, so I'm good. I'm like, I did my fucking part. And wouldn't you know it, man, people just fell in love with that shit, man.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this motherfucker is really magical because I don't even understand if I like it or not. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I saw him like, I'll say 3 years later. He's like, yo, man, everybody loved that song. Even he was like, yo, everybody loved that joint. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck it is. So, and that's, obviously to this day, my top, you go on iTunes or whatever, Apple Music, it's my number one stream joint. And it's like, but everybody in that office was kind of like, like, wow, okay, this is what we waited for fucking 7 months. But and then everybody's like, well, it's Pete Rock. We just gotta fucking trust it. Yeah. Wouldn't you know it? People fell in love with it, man. Like crazy. I used to close shows with that, and it was Pete Rock, man. You can't front on it, I guess,
It reminded me, it was in the same vein he had done the Respiration remix for Black Star.
Okay.
And I felt that it was in the same vein as that.
Really?
Yeah. So
I gotta go back and listen to that. It might have been around the same time, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So it was kind of like, oh, okay. So Pete, that's the vibe Pete's on right now. Because I remember hearing the Respiration remix. I was like, wow, that's pretty dope. Right. And then I heard your joint. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. Let's see where he's at. That makes sense. So, but that's funny, man. I didn't know.
It was. It didn't make sense to us. We was like, what the fuck? What happened here? You know what I mean? But hey, he's Pete Rock for a reason, man. I just say that,
Yeah.
It just went. But here's the craziest part. So that was one crazy story. The crazier footnote to that fucking record is that later they asked Geology to do a remix of it.
Right.
Did y'all ever hear these remixes?
Yeah. Well, I heard the one.
Yo, he did like 4 remixes. 3 of them made the single, and then one we put on this Fish Out of Water remixes, and they are fucking dope. Like, and you talking about he took longer than Pete did. They were like, yo, where the fuck? Yo, but I mean, it's like, yo, you remixing Pete Rock shit, you gotta be very But yo, I think he did it, man. He got, it was at least 2 or 3 remixes on that single. They were dope too. They are dope. So that was one of my, legendary studio experiences. The next was with Laura Finesse, right? So so me and Laura Finesse, and we go on D&D, right? Legendary Studio, same thing. Eddie Sancho is there. He's the engineer. Everything is just out the hip-hop textbook and shit. Laura Finesse, comes in late. You know what I mean? I don't know how many hours, 2 hours late. Now, I don't know what the plan was, but like there was no beat. There was no nothing. So we watched Laura Finesse make a track from scratch. Ground up, layer by layer. Yo, call such and such. Bass player comes in, boom, boom. We watch all of that. Same thing. I'm like, yo, this is the hook. What you do? I want you to get on it. All right. So we go do the chorus. And at first he was like, it could be better. But I was like, well, let's just do it and see. So he did it. It came out. And then that shit was, bro, just like, I'm like, all right, well, this how we doing it. I wrote a verse at a time. I write a verse lay that shit down. Go out and we listen. Okay, we'll write the next one, lay that shit down. Write the next one, lay that shit down. So then finally at the end, it's like it's all done. It's like we've been there since 2 in the afternoon. It's 2 in the morning. And, then these guys fucking kick us out. They like, all right, we about to mix, man. They kick everybody out the studio. So now we like, you feel like real small on your own shit. You know what I mean? When they like, you gotta get out now. And so, they mixed the shit, and it became Know the Legend. And it's a powerful joint. I mean, it's Lord Finesse, and it's always really dope when you get to experience an artist, not only that you love and listen to, but like that their personality is pretty much exactly what it is in their music. You know what I'm saying? And I had that with Lil Dap. I had that with Camp Lo. If you can imagine how Camp Lo raps, like how the fuck can that be your personality? But it actually is. It's just like, God damn, it's too much. You know what I'm saying? But like, they were my bros. Like we rolled hard for a long time. We did a tour. We did a tour in Europe. Them and Large Pro, crazy Christmas tour in 2003, sold out every night. It was amazing. And then this is when I moved back to the States, and we went right on to another tour. Me and Camp Lo and Ty J from Souls of Midship. And it's like, you talking about everything that could go wrong tour, everything went wrong. And these dudes rode it out, came out fly every night, no matter what. Poorly promoted, 50 people in there, and a 700 seats, like just still Camp Lo, you know what I mean? And even Lil Dap, I had a couple tours with Lil Dap, like this guy is the guy on the record, you know what I'm saying? It's just like it's even that is like educational. You start to understand. It kind of helped me start to understand my personality and how I project that. And so it just the whole thing. Even then it didn't go as far and as wide as I envisioned in that way. It just like it's totally been a blast. You know what I'm saying? It's just like totally.
Bro, speaking of Camp Lo,
yeah.
So I'm cool with Sonny.
Okay.
So here's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Talk to Sonny on the phone. He talks the same way that he raps.
That's what I'm saying.
Bro,
you can't.
He wanted me to do a video for him. So I was like, you want it for you or you want it for Camp Lo? He's like, solo kite. I'm like, what does that mean?
Exactly.
I'm like, what does that mean?
Exactly. Exactly. You like, how are y'all getting through life like this, man? Yo.
He's
solo exactly.
But shout out to Sonny though. He's a good dude though.
Oh, that's my bro, man. Slade too. Like, but you just like, this is actually y'all. Like, this shit is crazy. This shit is crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's true. It's not even. It's true. You like, damn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Solo kite, exactly.
The solo kite.
I forgot about the kite. Everything was a kite. And you know who they introduced me to, who's the shit right now? Technician, the DJ. Okay. He was their DJ on tour, and we ended up doing a couple shows together too. Yep, technician, the DJ. Yep. Oh man, solo kite. Yeah, that's funny.
That about killed me. I about died on the show.
Yeah.
Solo kite.
Yeah. Come on, oh man, that is so true right there, yo.
Chief is a good dude. He's a good dude.
That is so true, man. He said solo kite. Yeah.
So funny. funny.
Yeah, yo, man.
He talks exactly how he raps.
Yo, man. Imagine being like day in, day out, tour bus, meals. And like you're getting to know him, but you're not sure if you know any fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, God. And yo, matter of fact, when I had a 40th birthday party here in Philly, and they came and performed this shit. You know, they came and hooked me up, and yo, that was. And my man, you know, this guy is Mark DeVita and shit. He was like managing them for a while. So somehow we all knew each other, and you know, I was like, bro, how the fuck do you? How you? He was like, yo, man, I know every time I take a deposit, man, I start sweating. I don't know if they're gonna make the plane or we listen. Like, how is this shit happening? You know what I'm saying? Like. Every time it's a milestone, you be like, how the fuck? Then it'll be like, it'll be a new album. You be like, damn, y'all got another deal? You know what I'm saying? Oh, shit. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But when you talk about artistry, though, it's like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They pour that shit on, bro. You be like, damn, I am impressed. Yeah. You know what I mean? And live, too.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah, it's beautiful, man.
Is it safe to say after touring with them that you're semi-fluent in Camp Low? You know, you can kind of.
I mean, you see, I knew the solo. I knew the kite. Right. The kite is everything. The kite is the joint. The kite is the bass line. The kite is the noun. You know what I'm saying? It's the common denominator now. So yeah, I can get through some conversations and comprehend. Fluent might be a stretch, but. Conversational for sure.
Bro, listen, having conversations with Sonny, I'm like, I don't know what he even said. He gave me instructions. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. and then you'd be nervous because I'm like, well, do I call him back? Because I'm just going to be more confused.
Yeah. It's funny, man. Yeah, I'm conversational in Camp Low. I don't know if anybody other than them two are fluent. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. That shit is beautiful though.
Are you still performing? You still doing?
No, I'm gonna start performing now. That's kind of what I wanna.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually talking to some dudes. This dude Fred Ones from the Bronx and some guys. I'm trying to put some shows together now, just to see. I don't think I've been on did a show since. I don't remember. I know a couple. And actually, when it was supposed to be in 2021, my man Sonny James, he does a lot of work at Serato, and we went like to Serato studio and like we filmed a live performance.
Oh, okay.
No audience though, but like in front of a crowd. Like, that's one of my goals for like the end of the year. Get back out there and because that shit is that's just a different kind of fun. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm planning on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
Do you still have your SB 1200?
Nah, man. I know. You know what? I took it with me to Germany, and there was a guy I worked with a lot who was he spun for me a lot of the shows, and he he was an inspiring engineer. This dude named Eric Cadell, and well, how it is over there. That fandom and appreciation for the culture and all, like he wanted that shit so bad. I was like, bro, you know what? I'm gonna fucking sell it to you, because at that point, but also what happened too, it was like that's when the the software was taken over, and really with that shit, it was like it was cool. I could make a little joint, but it's like the production started just getting too far away from me anyway. I was like, I knew in my heart I wasn't going to keep up with that, so I was just like, you know what, bro? I know you love it. I know you're going to keep it and cherish it, and probably be able to show it to me in 30 years. So here, you got it. You know what I mean? And that was the time. And for him to have that in Germany, like that put him up in a different echelon of DJs and producers. I was like, I wanted to do that for him. You know what I mean? So I let him have it, and then from there, I kind of, I make a few beats here and there, like in Logic for a while. But after that, I just started seeing like these guys are getting crazy with this shit. Like, there's no way I'm going to keep up. You know what I mean? And then people, after a while, people just throw me so many beats. It's like, oh, man, just give me the beats. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to make a beat. It's not my strength anyway. So yeah.
You were the first one. That's the first SP1200 I saw. When I first saw it, I'm like, at Slade's crib. I'm like, this machine is huge. Like a suitcase.
Yeah. With like 2 seconds of sample time and the whole thing. But guys made magic with that shit, bro. You know what I mean? Like, even the Lord Finesse used it. I mean, he was triggering other stuff, the loops and all that, but like that sound, that 8-bit crunchy, it gave hip hop an identity. You know what I mean? We think about that Criminal Minded, that Ultra Mag, all that Paul C shit.
Yep.
And then the guys like Large Pro or like Organized Confusion start chaining them shits together. It's like it totally was the identity of it, the sonic identity of hip hop. So it was great to have it. I was cool with letting it go though. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions?
I don't have any.
Okay.
Let me just before I go, man, let me thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate this. Let me shout out that By Design 2 is available. And I gotta say, man, actually people are responding quite well. The Grand Poobah and Ty J joint. They threw us on a couple playlists. They just put me and Planet Asia on the playlist on bars. You did that?
Oh, I played it on Hip Hop Gods Radio. Yeah.
Oh man, thank you.
And now I think it's on our top 20 chart.
Really?
Went on the chart last week. So.
Bet.
Yeah, I'll keep you in the loop on it.
Thank you. So it's it's like it's fun again. You know what I'm saying? It's like I got to shout out my son too. My son Sabbath. He's an artist and dope. Of his generation. Totally not the shit I'm on, but actually he and his homie just did a couple videos for me. So one, The Addicted, that's out now, / Love Spreader, and then they got 2 other clips that I'm going to be putting out in a little while. So, man, I just want to thank you guys. This was really, really fun, really much appreciated. And hey, everybody go check out By Design 2, man. This shit is
definitely
dope.
Yep.
All right, man.
It is.
Thank you for coming through. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Grand Agent, everybody.
Yeah. Salute. All right. Peace, y'all.
Peace. Excellent. Little trip down memory lane there, Ultramag.
Yeah, that's my man with the solo kite. Solo.
Yo, man, that got me so good. I don't even.
Bro,
I know you've told that story before, and it's still funny.
Yeah,
but he confirms it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel bad. I'm like, I don't know what Sonny's saying sometimes. I'm like, what did he just tell me?
That's so great. So
What did he
great.
just tell me?
I know a few people like that.
He sounds like it's very pimpish but smooth. It's exactly how they sound as he sounds on record. Is how he talks. There's no difference.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Love it.
Oh, who else is like that? See, Doc?
Little
bit pimpish.
Huh?
A little bit pimpish. Sounds exactly like he does on record.
Yeah.
Who else is like that?
A little bit.
Well,
I like
Mr.
a little
Orange Juice Jones.
Pimpish, yes. Yep. The juice.
Yep.
Yep. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So that was great. Great stories. And I you know what? I swear I had the what's called the mingling 12-inch. I couldn't find it. I swear I had it. Yeah.
Bro,
I bet you
listen.
I bet it's there somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it literally felt like overnight. Like we used to go over my man Big Jim Slade's crib because they were there, him and his the partner named Larry. And it's like one day I had the name tape in my hand, and then the next day it's like he had the mingling 12-inch. He was out of here.
Wow.
It was like that.
Wow.
It was literally like that.
That's dope.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Good to see him do well, man.
Yeah, that's great. And what he and the working for the nonprofit, the nonviolence nonprofit. That's great.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
That makes it. I didn't even bring it up, but that makes its way into the music during the album, which is dope. I mean, there's
because the one joint especially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Guns up for cowards.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Dope stuff. Yes. So there's our show this week. Jennifer's laughing at me. I'm trying to tie it all together. Doing a terrible
job.
What
kind of ending was that?
I don't know. Well, I'm not quite there. Dave Sy and Mocha Only are back tomorrow night.
They are
right here on Channel Zero for another episode of Body Hat Weekly, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Death Squad.
Yes.
Yep.
El Nino by Death Squad. Which I haven't heard that album in a long ass time.
Neither have I.
Wow. So that might warrant a revisit.
Is full cooperation on that album?
Maybe.
They're like full cooperations on that album.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't remember.
It's here somewhere.
Don't remember. Flatline's got it. He'll confirm. And then, of course, Friday, Angie Don't Stop radio show. Or sometime this weekend on Mixcloud. 2 hours of hip hop goodness, and then come back around here, Channel Zero on Sunday for DJ Soulbuck and the mixtape. And Soulbuck will be spinning the hits of our next week's guest. Who we got coming up next week?
This is one of those ask and you shall receive. You wanted YZ back? He's coming.
YZ coming back.
He
be coming back.
Did you see he was on Willie D's?
Yes.
Show?
Yes.
Yeah. I gotta watch that. Yeah.
Yep. I saw the clip. I gotta watch it too. So we'll have to ask him about it, and then we'll talk about his amazing new album that is out now.
Yeah.
Go check it out on his Bandcamp page. It is definitely worth your time. It is.
Y'all gonna have to pardon me next week because YZ is one of my heroes. Serious.
He's such a great dude, man. Shout out to YZ.
He is.
So yeah, looking forward to talking to him again.
Yeah.
And so we'll be talking to YZ next week, next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, everybody watching live, everybody watching on the replay. Please like and subscribe. We got lots of great content here at Channel Zero. And check out that new Enemy Radio video if you haven't seen it yet. It's playing here. And check out the album too. And tell your friends. And we will see everybody next week for another episode of It's C-Doc Again.
Solo kite.